Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. In this class, we are going to begin with the second unit of Class 12 Nagaland Board Education, which is Growth and Development. Now, as the name of the unit in itself is suggestive of the fact that we in this unit shall talk about what is growth, what is development, and also I am going to introduce to you people the topic maturation, something that we call as maturity in English. We are going to learn the characteristics of both growth and development. We are going to learn how it is different, how growth and development are different from each other, and also the principles that define the growth and development. So this is what we aim to know by the end of this chapter. So, as I told you, we are going to learn about growth. Now, growth and development, these two terms are often used by people and understood by people in an incorrect manner. They often confuse themselves with the usage and the meaning of these two words. When I talk about growth, growth is something which refers to the physical changes that take place in a person. The physical changes and the physical improvements that take place. The growth in weight, the growth in height, the growth of your hair, the growth of your fingernails. So this is what we call as growth, because that is something that can be seen and can be measured as well, right? On the other hand, when I talk about development, now development is something which is a greater concept. It means growing towards maturity, becoming maturer day by day. It refers to the behavioral changes that take place in you over a period of time. And when I talk about the behavioral changes, I can obviously not measure the changes, the development that has taken place in my behavior. For example, as I told you, when I talked about growth, it means my body has become heavy, my body has become large. And these changes, when I talk, can be measured by anybody and everybody. Even the person who's being talked about in picture can know that he or she has grown heavier or larger or taller, right? When we talk about development, as I told you, development has got a connection with maturity. Let's say, for example, a child of 3 years, okay? So a child who's of 3 years is obviously growing day by day, and let's say that the child is very adamant and keeps on demanding for things which are unreasonable in nature, because that is what the kids do. Now, then the child grows further, and let's say reaches the age of 9. As compared to the age of 3 and now at the age of 9, there are going to be certain changes, some improvement in the behavior of the child that can be noticed by the parents. Now the child is in a better position to understand what the parents are telling him or her. The child is able to understand maybe whether the thing they are demanding for is actually useful for them or not, right? So we see a development. We see that the child is developing, has got some positive behavioral changes. Then from 9 years to, let's say, we shift to 15 years. Again, 15 years, there are going to be more improvements that can be witnessed in the child. The child is going to become more is going to become smarter, is going to become wiser, is going to become more understanding, more emotional, sympathetic, empathetic maybe. Then again, let's come over to the age of 24. By 24, the child has been to the school, has been to his college, obviously, maybe has completed the graduation as well, has appeared for a lot of competitive exams probably, and now is smarter than he was at the age of 15. So what is this? This is the development which is taking place in the behavioral pattern of the child. So this is the major and the root difference between growth and development. As I told you, growth is something which is quantitative in nature, which can be measured, while development is something which cannot be measured. It is simply an advancement that will take place in your behavioral pattern. So this was the basic difference between growth and development. Obviously, as we proceed further in the chapter, we are going to learn about them in detail. Now we know what is growth, we know what is development. The next step comes for us to understand why is it important to learn about growth and development. Why are these two concepts, growth and development, so important for a person? Now since our subject that we are dealing with is education. So we are talking about the importance of education and what is the major aim of imparting education to the student, right? Now when we give when we impart education to the students, what is the aim? What is our major focus by the end of it? We want that the children, the students, should show a desirable change in themselves, should have a better quality of life, should have a new way of thinking, should have a new outlook towards things, and becomes a better human being in every aspect. This is what an educationist focuses on. Right? You all will agree with me? Even when in school, in Unit 1, we learnt about the fact that nowadays, it is not only the syllabus which is important, but what is important for the child is the curriculum. And again, we discuss the difference between them. Curriculum talks about everything on a whole. The syllabus, the academic content, as well as the co-curricular activities that a child is being exposed to while in a school or in an educational institution. So, education aims at bringing about a positive change in a child in whatever manner it can. And in order to bring these changes, it is very important for one to understand about the growth as well as development of the children with respect to their age. Both these things. You might have seen, if let's say you are in class 12, right? There would be some children around you who are gifted, who are special children. The reason why there is a difference is because of the change in the developmental pattern that they have, right? They have not developed the way you people have, if we talk about a gifted child. Similarly, there might be some children who would have a shorter height as compared to somebody who should be in class 12. For example, let's talk about myself. I know I am not that tall. I am stout. I am short-heighted person. So that is because there has, my growth with respect to the increasing height had stopped after, let's say, the age of 15 or 16 for that matter. So if we want that the child should change into an all-rounder or a better person altogether, we have to understand whether the child is growing appropriately with age, and along with growth, whether the child is developing with age as well or not. Again, growing means the child should become taller with age. The child should have the perfect weight according to their body, according to their mass. And when I talk about development, the child who reaches the age or, the grade 12 should be mature enough to understand, because they have a new life waiting for them ahead of them, where they're going to get admission into a university, into a college, right? So we have to understand whether the children have grown and developed with respect to their age or not. And as I have already given you the example, we know that development is an ongoing, it is a continuous process that takes place at different stages and different periods of life. We do not stop developing until we die. Okay, there is some or the other development that will always keep on taking place inside us. With the experiences, with the circumstances, with the situations, maybe we start learning something new or whatsoever. But development is something that is going to begin when the child is born and will continue until, the person reaches the tomb. So development is a continuous process. It is an ongoing process. Now, therefore, since development keeps on going ahead at all stages of life, it is very important for us to continue to try. We should never give up, because we know that we are going to change, every day, every year, every stage of life. There is some positive change that is going to come over in us. And with every positive change, our personality is going to grow. Our personality is going to get better. So that is something which should be our aim, and we should never give up on developing ourselves, on becoming perfect, on learning something new, achieving something that we probably did not have. Let's say, for example, for a child, I will not say child, for a person of age 19 or 20, when you talk about how important it is to meditate, right? The child, that person would probably not pay much of a heed to you asking him or her to meditate, because there are so many other things that they are involved with, and obviously are more inclined towards them. And they would also find meditation, and introspection to be something very difficult. But when you grow with age, you will see and realize how important it is for you to meditate and to spend time with yourselves. And again, with the growth in years, now our age also keeps on growing, right? This again is a measurable change in us. So with the change in years, with the growth in years, we see a lot of changes in us, as we say. So with growth in years, we see a lot of development that takes place in us. We understand the value of introspection, and we understand the value of meditation, and that is when we realize how important it is to be spiritually connected as well. So therefore, one should never stop trying and always aim for something new, something better, and to strive for perfection in life. Now, as I told you, now when I talk about growth and development, again, when we consider growth and development from the perspective of the children, both the things are very important. As I have already told you, we want the child not only to grow, not only to become taller and to become well built, but also to develop in terms of their cognitive abilities, in terms of their skills, in terms of their mental aptitude, right? So therefore, it is very important for us to integrate. Integrate means to use, to involve growth and development with the learning process. We need to teach to the students in such a manner. We need to frame a curriculum or a timetable, their teaching methodologies, in such a manner that the child is getting appropriate opportunities to grow as well as to develop. This is why it is important for us to learn growth and development so that we can know how and why should we inculcate and integrate growth and development in the regular teaching learning practices.